also a reality. So we have in the studio Princess Fumi Hancock. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on the Ben Breakfast
Thank
Show.
Thank you.
So you are a doctor.
Yes.
And I know you are a doctor before you became an author.
Yes.
And a filmmaker.
Yes.
Can you tell us your journey into being
in
the medical profession?
Well, I tell you what, when I graduated from the University of Ife in Nigeria with the English, I wanted to be in medicine. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my God, that is awesome! Yeah. Oh, awesome! So that's the same thing I did. I came in and I did my master's in writing, writing for TV and films.
Yeah.
So I went back home and actually worked for NTA for a little bit, for maybe 1 or 2 years. Wrote some stories that got featured. And then my then husband decided, okay, we gotta come back.
Yeah.
And that's how I went back to the US. And so when I got to US, I always knew that I cared. I love that caring aspect of it. I wasn't sure which angle I was gonna go, but I loved nursing more than medicine because I felt like nursing would allow me to actually care, where medicine is just like, just write it and keep going.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got into nursing. And as I got into nursing, I felt like, okay, I want to be able to have my own clinic. I want to be able to practice the way I want. And more importantly, it wasn't so much for diabetes and things like that, but I wanted mental health. And that's how I got into it.
Yeah, and mental health is one of those issues that people don't really pay attention to.
That's right.
Especially, everyone thinks everyone is fine.
That's right.
I was watching the news 2 days ago, and a man in Oyo State committed suicide. And I'm sure back in the days, they're like, there's nothing like depression.
That's right.
No one is depressed. I know Africans to an extent, we have this strength, we have this, I don't know, we can just take a lot in, and we feel we can go through stuff. But I think things are really changing. Yeah. There are people that are going through
absolutely
depression, mental issues, and they need attention. So how do you do? Do you talk to them, support them?
Well, that's one of the things. You support them, you talk to them, you also prescribe for them when it's possible, when it's necessary. Yeah. Now, yesterday when I was traveling over here, one of my Fearless Visionaries sent me a news from Kenya, because she's in Kenya doing the launch for Fearless Visionaries. So she sent me this, and they said, World Health Organization said that depression is, highest, as its highest
Kenya.
In Africa.
Wow.
In Kenya. And when I saw that paper, front page, I was like, whoa, this is something. A lot of us in Africa, it's a taboo to even talk about it. Yeah. To say, okay, you have this. And if somebody has schizophrenia, we know where they take them, arrow, right? Arrow.
Or they say they're even being possessed by some evil spirit.
That's right. And so they throw them in the forest or something like that and just leave them, set them and forget it there. But now we're beginning to understand. Some of us Nigerians are beginning to go back to school, read more about it, study more about it, and understand that even if you're schizophrenic, you can still have a great life. Yeah. If you're bipolar, you can still have a great life. Some of us, I remember with myself, ADHD. You get to America and at 30-something, and they're saying you have ADHD, which they say you've had since you were younger. But because you lived in Nigeria, you did not even know that you had it. You just knew that you couldn't, any small thing, your attention span was this small. You just knew that you know what, if they give you this now, in 1 second you're off of it. Yeah. But you didn't know it was ADHD. So the cool thing now is we can go back to Africa, we can go back to Nigeria and begin to educate people about it.
Okay, so wonderful. Tell us the author and the filmmaker aspect of, because I know you've written a lot of books. You have like 12 to 14 bestsellers already.
Yes.
And we're going to be talking about the latest one.
Yes.
But before we talk about, because I feel that being a doctor in mental health is a lot.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's a lot, because it goes beyond prescribing.
That's right.
You have the counseling,
That's
you have the support.
Psychotherapy, everything.
Exactly.
That's
it's ongoing.
That's right.
Then being an author, writing a book, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because it's a project you start. Sometimes it's like, oh, let me drop it. Let me write it. So sometimes you go back again and it's like, oh, when am I going to finish this?
Yeah.
You've been there, exactly. So being a doctor,
Yeah.
which is really tedious, being an author,
before
we even talk about the filmmaking,
how
have you been able to juggle those two?
Well, here's the thing. Writing has always been something that I used to release my tension. So writing has never been a job for me. It's never been a work. It's actually something that I just use to just release myself. So in 1996, I wrote my very first one, say, Stepping Out, Fulfilling My Destiny. And that was during my divorce. And I wanted to just tell myself it's time to step out and just go and fulfill your destiny, because you are not divorced. Your name is not divorced. You are not defined by what happened to you, but you can get to define yourself. So that was my first book, and it was just a series of journals that I would write on a daily basis during my divorce. And so those journals became something that I now put together and did the first book. And as I did the first book and it became very successful, it was easy for me to just keep going and just keep writing and keep writing.
So what would you say okay, let's talk about the filmmaking before I jump into it, because I'm going to say a lot about the writing aspect. So the filmmaking, how did you start?
Well, remember now, I said when I came to
you're writing,
the US, I was writing for the media and I was doing that. But at that point, I remember writing my very first script that I wrote, I sent to Hollywood, and it was stolen.
Wow.
I mean, and it became a blockbuster.
Really?
That was the painful part of it. It became a blockbuster, and
you didn't sue. There was
no. I couldn't go back, because there were letters that showed that they wanted me to be involved, but because I was going through my divorce, and I had to make a choice, because I had a then husband who told me, well, I don't want to go to Hollywood with you. You know, me and the children will just stay. You can go ahead. And I was young, and I said to myself, you know what? I choose my family. And I left that alone. And one day we were sitting in the living room, and he was the one who actually saw it on one of the major magazines, and said, "Say, what did you say that film was?" And I said, "He said, oh, it just became a blockbuster. They did it." And so that really affected me. For 12 years, I did not write anything.
Oh my God.
For 12 years, I just stayed completely. And on the 12th year, something just came over me and said, you know what? It's done. There's another opportunity for you. And I began to write, and the next opportunity was of Sentimental Value and some other films.
Oh, nice. So what would you say your style of writing? You're writing now, so you know everyone writes for different reasons. Some write for, they pass political messages. Some maybe inspirational messages. Some use their own personal lifestyle too. So what would you say your own writing style is?
I'll say it's a combination. One is inspirational. You know, when I go out and speak anywhere, it's always about inspiring people, motivating them, and providing powerful tools. So those three things drive me. In fact, in America, they call me America's Global Vision Midwife. That's what they call me. And isn't that funny? And I'm a nurse too, you know?
Exactly, you
I'm a doctor of nurse practice. So and it's like, wow. So it's just amazing. They didn't know that when they tagged me, Global Vision Midwife. And I said, wow, because people come to me and I help them to push that vision of writing out of them and to create an opportunity and a platform. And I know not only help them to pull it, but I give them a platform to really display their talents. And so,
And I know that obviously writing and writing about inspiration, life stuff, women issues in your life, you must have come across a lot of people going through maybe mental stuff, personal stuff. Can you share a bit of some of those issues?
Well, you know what? Let me even start with mine, where I found myself on a bridge called Verrazano Bridge in New York. That bridge is the most used bridge. But when I decided to go commit suicide, do you believe that there was no